Happy Thursday.
Turn up Thursday night. This is pre-game to the weekend. This is pre-Friday turn up. Let's go.
Let's go indeed. Do you have any big plans for the weekend?
Not n- no, maybe. I think there's like a little festival going on where they cooking or something that I might go to, but no major plans. But the weather's beautiful here. It's been in the 80s, so
Yeah.
it's always something nice to do in Atlanta when the weather's nice and warm here. Always.
So nice for you. That's what I miss about like not being in a place where the weather is nice most of the time. Because it's been fluctuating here. I had to tell my friends, I think Mother Nature is in like perimenopause in Canada because one moment it's hot, the next minute it's cold. Yesterday it snowed, and today it was 18 degrees Celsius.
It's
Yes,
snow.
snow, it snowed, it hailed, and it rained all in one day. And then today was like 18 degrees Celsius, which the equivalent 36, it's about 68 degrees Fahrenheit. And it went from like 30 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's about 84 degrees here.
It's okay. I'll be in Miami next week, so that's what
Everything.
I'm holding up for.
Today before earlier today before I got on the show, cut the grass. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Got rid of us. Some
lovely.
wasps trying to grow their little nest. I got a bird nest, but they're cool. But the bees got to go.
That is so lovely.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
so happy for you.
yeah.
That's
I had shorts
that's the
on
best.
too. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's even better. That's so
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
That's
Had to
so
swat the bugs
special.
away because they're trying to attack a brother. They like chocolate. They say. You know what I'm
Okay, let's do that.
saying?
Well, we're deciding between a puffer jacket and a jeans jacket each day, but I digress. Anything exciting happened during the week?
No, just regular work. No complaints. Everything's just moving, flowing.
I love that for you. Well, I have some exciting news, everybody. My new book is out. My new book, Love Rules, is now available on Amazon for you to read. It is the first book in a six-part series. I am so excited. I'm always scared when I write a book that no one's going to buy it, or if they buy it, they're going to hate it. It's maybe it's an author thing, but it's definitely a Toshiba thing. But if you support me, I promise the book is good. I've been told it's good by those who read it, and books 2 to 6 are going to be amazing. Admittedly, I haven't actually written past book 3. I'm in the middle of editing 2 and 3 to pre-release them and then write 4, 5, and 6. But I will see what feedback people give me to see if it influences how the remaining books turn out. So go and buy Love Rules now on Amazon. While you're at there, pick up the other 9. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Support your girl. I'm a self-published author and all the other things that I do in this world. So I'm so blessed. Also, my daughter appeared in the new Drake video. My daughter is in the new Nokia Drake video,
Oh, really?
which is amazing. She is. She was at the release party on Monday. She told me she couldn't get a +1, so my ass had to stay at home. But that's okay. It's her time to shine. But she is in the new Nokia Drake video where he represented Toronto. So it's amazing. So it's just all in all been like a really, really good week for me. I cannot complain. Cannot
Congratulations
complain.
to y'all.
I
Congratulations.
know. I know. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But we move on. So as I was thinking about what we needed to talk about this week, I could not get last week's conversation out of my head. It was just playing over and over. And of course, you guys know I make the clips and I put the clips out. So I rewatch the show, and after that, I then turn those into clips. And so as I'm editing and then I'm watching, I'm like, this is a larger conversation that I needed to have. And I wanted to really open it up more because I don't think we were able to tackle this part of the conversation as well. And it was around safety. And Twins, what you said really hit me when I asked you the question, and your response actually took me back because I was thoroughly surprised that that was the response you gave. And then the other men who were watching the show started commenting about it. And I'm going to play actually a clip from last week's show for those of you um, that were not there for last week's show. And then a clip showed up in my algorithm because that's how the tickety talks in the Instagram works. Is that all of a sudden my algorithm had a clip that I'm also going to play about a man talking about safety. And so this week I was like, we need to tackle um, this conversation a little bit further and maybe get a little bit deeper into it because I think what happens a lot is Black women, we talk about the need to feel safe. We got to feel safe. You know, you hear on the internet, on Beyonce and Blue Ivy's internet, oh, I need to feel safe. In order for my femininity to come out, a man needs to create a safe space for me. Just how can I be vulnerable? How can my femininity just come out of me if I'm not safe, right? Like that narrative is heard over and over and over again. The opposite isn't. How does a Black woman create a safe space for her Black men? What does that look like? And I think on this show where we tackle very tough conversations is the perfect place to have it. So I'm going to play the clip that I put together from last week's show to remind everybody that was said. We'll have a conversation about that, and then I'll quickly play the other clips. So this is the clip from last week's show. Let's talk about the safe space because again, that is something we hear of men saying. But when you say, I want a woman to be my safe space, what does that actually mean?
So just to add another layer to it, right? And it at the end of the day, we will never be fully safe with you, regardless how respective you could be, whatever. Because it can't be vulnerable with everything. Some stuff we have to take to the grave with us. There's some things we just have to take to the grave because I can tell you something that's very intimate, whatever, and you may never say it in front of anyone else, right? But you may say it to me, you know, when you're upset. So I could never be there. We would like to be that vulnerable with you, with our woman, with our wives, with someone that's going to be our to death do us apart, right? We would love to have that. But as men, we know we can't be vulnerable with y'all. So I mean,
why? Let's because that's the part I think women need to understand. Why is it that you can commit to us, marry us, protect, provide for us, but there's still that part of you that says, as much as I love her, I cannot be vulnerable with her.
Because once again, as I said before, as women, you do not have accountability. That is the number one thing. There is no accountability.
I almost choked on my water when you responded. That is how shocked I was, but I was not expecting that response. And looking back at that clip, would you answer exactly the same way you just did?
I would act, yes, the same. Wouldn't change. It wouldn't change. And mind you, too, to add another point to that, and I'm not basing on. I mean, just everybody's seen this across the whole world, as far as the example, right? And that's Will Smith and Jada, right? Jada, as men, at one point we thought they were couple goals early.
We all did.
Early in the relationship. But the point to see that Will Smith is very talented rapper, actor, father, XYZ, but on a highest level, he still gets disrespected. When we see people like Michael B. Jordan when he was dating Steve Harvey's stepdaughter and the disrespect there, it's like if them guys who have everything can't get respect and those girls not be held accountable for their actions, who am I? Who am I? And I'm just using those because those are just public, but everyone knows that. And once again, Jada, you know what I mean, and her entanglement, the fact that she sat there on the red table and said, yeah, it was a entanglement. You're like cheating, right? Cheating. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that even on that high level, she still wasn't trying to take accountability. So what does that look like for
So a lot of
person?
sorry to cut you. A lot of women would counter that with saying, well, they chose those women. What's your response to that?
And that's it right there. It's so easy to say you chose that woman. I mean, that's like the cop out answer. I'm like, oh, okay. And there's some truth to that, right? We did choose those women. But once again, people do change.
Mm-hmm.
So the person that I accepted or I chose, she wasn't that person that she turned to be 10, 20 years later on. Because if she didn't show her true card 20 years ago, I wouldn't have chose her. You understand what I'm saying? So if someone is showing their representative and then later on they bring the real person out, then what? I mean, like how long do I have to date you to try to get the real you, right? And most women, or just people, period, men and women, right? Because I'm not just attacking women only, but I'm just saying people will play a certain part until they can get what they want, and then once they get what they want, then they show the true colors. So, yeah.
Interesting. I'm gonna play the other clip for tonight because it is very, very deep, and I definitely want. I see you, Mr. Mister. I definitely want to get the reaction from you gentlemen watching live, and of course on this replay, what this gentleman had to say. So let me play this clip now.
You want me to provide safety for you, but you cannot reciprocate it for me. I deserve to feel safe too. A number of black men internally, their internal world is not safe. And yet you want me to provide you with safety that I don't even know for myself. When I say to you that you've harmed me, you give me this rigmarole, that's not safe. When I tell you I'm tired, you get so wrapped up in your responses that you don't even give me the space to be fucking tired. That's not safe. I say to you that I don't feel connected to you. I say to you that you are not meeting my emotional needs. I say to you that I do not feel the way that you talk to me is uplifting and you continue to do it. That's not safe. But yet you want me to continue to go out in this world and come back and do all of this stuff. You don't want me. You want your idea of me. And if I don't fit that idea, you begin rejecting me. That's not safe.
I'm pretty sure. See, everything that he was expressing will be looked at as, oh, he's a weak man. He's soft. He's sassy. Right? So, you know what I'm saying? So we have to reserve those feelings and those thoughts that he currently have. Because we as men know this. Once our women see us in a different light, we will never get that feeling or how she saw it before back again. So we think about that guy who just spoke. Whoever woman he's with right now, she's like, oh, he's soft. Something wrong with him. He need to man up. Even though he's being open with her and vulnerable with her and to tell her X, Y, Z, she's gone at that point because she don't want to take on that challenge. A lot of them don't want to take that challenge. It's like, once again, they want to get a man who's already there, who's done at the finish line. They don't care about what a man goes through on a daily basis. So that's why I said we want to be open and vulnerable with you, but at what cost? To be looked at as not being a man, not being as strong and XYZ provider, not that? No. So some stuff we just take it in, talk it up with our fellas, and keep it moving.
Mr. said, he just said what I said previously. Men are not allowed to be who we are. We're only allowed to be what women think we are. Here is the thing, and I want to really have this conversation because I always feel like there needs to be solutions or work that people can do to be in a relationship that's healthy, and conducive to growth, right? Like you cannot build anything in toxic soil. And I have to tell you, my every time I watch that clip, and I've watched it a couple of times, my natural inclination is to want to hug that man as my natural inclination. Like I want to just kind of hug him and let him do whatever it is he needs to do. I naturally want to bring him in, but because that's what I want from my partner. I want my partner to instinctively, when I'm having those moments, want to bring me in. And if I think about my current partner, I'm in a relationship, y'all. Anyways, that also happened this weekend. He sent me flowers and a card saying, "Will you be my girlfriend?" which was super cute, but I digress. But anytime I'm having a bad day and we're in a long distance relationship, he literally be like, "Babe, do you need a hug?" Or he'll be like sending hugs. When I see you, what, like it's the first thing he wants to do. Like whenever he comes to visit me, the first thing I literally do is jump on him and he hugs me, because there's safety in his arms. How do we make it so that as men you feel that there's safety in our arms?
Well, I don't have the answer, but I'm gonna give you my perspective, right?
Yeah.
So, like the first thing you said is what we don't want. I just want to give you a hug. No, I want you to what I'm telling you. At the moment you hug me, you can cry in my arms. No, that is not what I'm asking for. I want you to listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what he's saying. Don't think a hug will fix it all. And I'm not. It's not directly a shot at you. I'm just saying how it is. Or like, no, I don't. Yes, a hug is good, right? We love hugs. We love all that. We love the affection part. So once again, men, we like to be cuddled. We like to be spooned. I like to have my back rub, head rub, all that. We love that. So I'm not saying no. Yeah, we love that stuff. But in that scenario, in that situation, no, listen to what I'm saying. Digest it. Let it resonate. You may not be able to give a quick response right there and there. But the main thing I want you to understand and listen to what I'm saying. Hear me. Don't all me. No, no. That's the problem. We don't want you to be like, oh, no. I don't need that. I need you to listen to what I'm saying. I'm pouring my heart out to you. This is not an all moment. This is like, okay, what I need to do to make sure, you know what I'm saying, I could be that support to my pause, to my man. No. It sounds crazy saying it, so you gotta say pause first. Hey, but I'm just saying, this is something that a woman needs to think about instead of saying, give me a hug. No. Okay, so when this happens, let me X, Y, Z, not just react or be like, well, you're doing it too. Or well, you know what I'm saying? Don't try to argue back and forth. Let's just try to get to a resolution.
I'm gonna pause for 1 second and read what Mr. says. He says one of the problems is most women's first reaction is not to hug that man. Rather, the first reaction is to shame him. And Mr. I see your other comment, but what I just heard from you is that sometimes in your relationship you feel unheard. And when you try to share your feelings, we placate your feelings. So in your mind, that hug isn't addressing what you're saying. It's like we do to babies, like you pat them on the back and they kind of go to sleep, and you don't have to deal with them the crying and the fussing, as opposed to letting you express whatever it is that you're telling us, reflecting on that, and then figuring out what we can do to assist you to go through whatever the storm is. Is that what you were saying?
Yep, that's exactly what it's saying, and also what Mr. just said as well, and then also the shaming part. Hmm.
Yeah, Mr. said, listen, understand, and adjust. That's far more important to us than a hug. So let's talk about that then. Okay, so and I think that the thing is not only to listen, which is why I use the word unheard, because sometimes we listen but we don't hear, right? Because there's listening and there's active listening. I can be in the kitchen listening and I'm hearing you as I'm wiping down the counters and the stove, and yep, babe, there's actually hearing you. And one of the things when I know that my man needs to be heard, he literally would stop what you're doing and look at me. So there's that face to face, that moment that I am focused entirely on you. So how do we make you feel heard and understood? And when Mr. and Mrs. says adjustments, what adjustments would you like to see in our behavior or action that would then say this space that my woman has created for me is safe?
That's a good one. It's gonna be case by case for each person, of course, um, for sure. Uh, I don't know. That's a hard one. How? I don't know, because we're so we're so divided, and I'm talking about men and
Mm-hmm.
women. We're so divided, and it is like, girl, if he ain't doing, leave him, get someone else, right? So no one, a lot of people are just runners. A lot of people will just leave one relationship and go to another one and never address with X, Y, Z. That's why there's
Mm-hmm.
always so much trauma, or that's why people get triggered so easily in a new relationship when something that
Mm-hmm.
happened previously happened again, because it never got addressed. You never did the self-reflection. You never did anything. I mean, of course, it's going to take more than just a one-time conversation. I don't know. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, woman empowerment training, coaching. I don't know. It as I said it because it falls on a woman. It falls on you to want to be better. It falls on you to want to be that listener. I'll just say this: the same love and care and energy that you have for your child, you know what I'm saying? You birth a child, your child. That love and energy, all that you have for that child, have that towards your man. Because at one point, he's someone's son too.
Mm-hmm.
But we just live in this doggy dog world, and unfortunately, I don't. It's so we've been divided for so long. It's really hard to try to get us back. Like at this point now, it's another conversation I had. But when it comes to the man, woman in the household, the government won. They won. This is started back in the 70s, and now we're in 2025. Yeah. And we're trying to go back to, not saying go back to the times before then where XYZ, but to try to build that relationship, try to build all that stuff now is no, because there's so many, time has went by a lot. And
Mm-hmm.
we as men realize that we just have to keep moving forward. No one cares. That's why when you think about divorce, I'm glad to say I'm one of the men who survived divorce, or the divorce process, because people don't know this, but it's a high number of dudes self-checking themselves out while going through that process or after the process. And not saying that I haven't thought about it, because I have,
Mm.
because it's that real. But in the day, no one cares.
Mhm.
No one cares. No, literally, no one cares. No one cares. Because, there's situations where I reach out to the moms, the friends, and tell them X, Y, Z. Oh, baby, I'll keep you in prayer. Once you get to that point where this prayer, like, okay, so life hits you for real, like, damn, I don't have nobody. It's really just me. That's when it hits the man, like, damn, it's really just me.
That was deep. That you said no one cares, and I just closed my eyes, and it wasn't me shaking my head saying you're wrong. It was just this thought of this is a really lonely place to be as a black man if in your mind you're going out there protecting, providing, and doing what is taught of you in the world and in a lot of the homes. You take care of your wife, you take care of your children, and through it all, you're sitting back thinking, okay, that's great, but no one really cares about me. I I, I don't walk around with those feelings. I've never really had to have a moment where I think no one cares about me. I have a ton of people I know who care about me, who drop what it is that they're doing if I'm in need, emergency girls meeting or whatever the case might be, and to think that as a man you're carrying all of that is a lot. Mr. Mister's got some comments here, and I'm going to start with the first one. And you're right, Mr. Mister. He says the whole premise behind F Your Feelings is related to this right here. Listen to us rather than making it about yourself or how I said it or what I didn't do in the past. And Mr. Mister's definitely been listening. Yes, I created this show and named it F Your Feelings based on this very premise. And the idea was never allow your feelings to supersede the feelings of your partner when in a conversation in order to allow, and it was more from me to my ex at the time, so from men to women, um, in order to have your partner feel heard, you need to sometimes fuck your feelings because the natural inclination, and I'm only going to speak from a woman's perspective, the natural inclination for us as women is when our partner says something while they're expressing themselves that hurts our feelings, our natural thing is to say, you hurt my feelings, completely shutting down anything he said before or anything he was going to say after, because it now becomes about you and your feelings about him expressing his feelings. And so I have put that in my last relationship and I plan to put it in my new relationship where when there is a conversation that needs to be had, the other person truly needs to be heard. We literally say, this is a fuck your feelings conversation, which essentially means sit down and shut the fuck up while I sit and say what it is that I have to say completely. And I tell a story of one point I had a conversation with my now ex fiance, and about an hour of it was silence. He had gotten mad, he expressed a bunch of stuff, and he was silent. Thought what he was thinking, then he started again. I said, I won't lie, it was super uncomfortable. It was super uncomfortable for me to sit there and not want to naturally respond. And I had to sit in my discomfort for his comfort. And I think a lot of us as women struggle with that. We don't want to be uncomfortable for anybody. And sometimes we need to sit in our own discomfort for our men to be comfortable and feel safe. Any thoughts about that before I move to Mr. Mister's other comments?
No, I mean, I just like to add on to everything you just said, right? Add to that. And also add on to what Mr. Mister said as well. Kevin Samuel was the only voice of reasoning of what men needed. And he was our voice, right? He was a voice, and like what Mr. Mr. said, it's everybody was more focused on what he or they was upset on how he said things. Most women I've talked to who either liked them or disliked them, whatever, they'll still say, "Oh, you know what? He was saying stuff. I just didn't like how the way he said it. I didn't like the way he said it." And that right there in a nutshell is the problem that we men have across the board when it comes to this topic that we're talking about. Just simple as that. If if nothing else I said make any sense, that should make sense because when that man passed away, women were happy.
That was crazy to
And,
me
and
too.
the fact is that we men saw that,
Crazy.
and the thing is like, there's no hope for us.
Mm.
If this man here was going online having these conversations, difficult conversations, but honest conversation, he wanted black men and women to be together. So everybody missed that point about him. They think he was just a guy who was just shaming women, talk about their weight. You built like a linebacker. Like all that stuff did play a role, but the point is the root cause, the root things he was wanting. He wanted black men and black women to get together. He had statistics. He wasn't speaking out his feelings. He was speaking from facts. He was speaking from the industry that he was in. He was I can't think of the I can't think of the word, but he helped people get dressed, men get dressed.
It was a stylist.
Stylist.
He
There
was
we
a
go. There we go.
stylist. And
So
it was a personal stylist.
Yes. So he was a stylist who worked with a bunch of men who the 6-figure man that everybody want, right? The 6 feet, 6 tall, whatever, but 6 figures, they want the money. He worked with those guys. And of course, you know, it's like in a barbershop. We work around men until you have conversation. And then after so many guys you talk to, you start getting enough data like, dang, you single? You single? What's the problem? And then he put it all together. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that the fact that the conversation he had, he got so much pushback. That's what men deal with on a daily basis, just with one woman. He talked to like 25, 3, you know what I mean? He may talk to 5 to 8 women in one night. We talking about one woman we talk to every day. But I'll stop for now. Go ahead.
Mr. Mrs. says a lot of men saw women rejoicing in his death and checked out at that very moment. A lot of men were completely done at that single moment. As a woman, I can tell you, for me, that was disgusting. I remember someone commenting on that very thing, clearly a woman, about his tone, and I was like, I'm Jamaican. Let me just, if you ever spoken to a Jamaican person, tone is the least of our concern in a Jamaican household or the Jamaican tone. I wish I would say that I don't like my mother, not even my father. I don't like your tone. Listen, the way it get cut. So you were right. I think a lot of people were caught up in his tone and missed the message, right? The message that he was saying. And I think I saw women rejoice and thought, that is disgusting on so many levels, because instead of taking in what he said, moving the feelings aside, fucking your feelings, ladies, again, instead of fucking your feelings, they internalized that, and that turned into hatred towards a man who was actually trying to help them and guide them and have them see the light. He was actually trying to help. And I think that's where the unheard part, when you were speaking earlier, I get that. I get that. And that is the basis, not was, that is the basis of why this show was created. Because in that moment, I knew when my partner looked at me and said, fuck your feelings, in that split second in 2021, before this show, it was a catalyst for this show. Because I looked up at him and I was like, wow, I think I'm so evolved as a woman. I am not even a lot. As I sit here, I think I'm so evolved as a woman. I'm so above some of this stuff. And in that moment, he let me know, nope, no, you're not. And I had to sit in that moment and say, okay, if I'm doing this, a woman who considers herself evolved, who's, again, my culture is such a thing, that family and all of these things that I won't lie, I'm not going to lie, I'll say it. And maybe this is why women don't like my show. I would say I'm not American. So in my mind, I'm immune to some of this shit, right? Like me and my friends, none of us are American. We're not American. We're all West Indian culture. So in some of our minds, we're like, that's American thing. We're so immune to this shit. But my partners have all been American. Almost every single one. The people I've been engaged to, the men I was married to, the men I'm with now, like American. So it was always like, that's not my thing. So when I was in that moment and I realized, oh my God, I am not above this. I tried to figure out how, if I am doing this, how can I create a space to ensure that the men in my life, number one, it started with the men in my life, felt safe, and that we were then delivering a message to other men and women to make them feel safe. I looked at our analytics today, and 94.2% of our subscribers are male. 94.2% of almost 1,500 subscribers are male. So part of me makes it feel like I'm doing a good job at that safe space, but the other part of me is like, this message is not being heard by women because they're not coming into our space. So I'm at a crossroads, I won't lie. So please, everybody, as I say this, please get your women friends to watch the clips, to watch the shows, to have this conversation, because I can't make a change if no women are coming to the platform to hear what we're discussing. I move on. Mr. Mrs. says, Kevin Samuels talked the same way to the men that he did the women, maybe even worse, yet nobody gave an F until he started talking to women the same way. I mean, you're not wrong. Here's the thing. We are sensitive, but okay, I'm actually going to use a better word. A lot of us women are hypocrites. I was going to soften it up, but we gonna F your feelings tonight. A lot of us women are hypocrites. We really are the people who say, the when you're growing up as a kid and your parent says, do what I say, not what I do. That's a lot of us as women. Do what I say, not what I do. So yes, I can disrespect you. Yes, I can make you feel unheard. But you better not disrespect me, and you gonna hear me today. It's not even a double standard. I think we try to, again, pretty things up and put them in cute little pink, packages and wrap them with pink bows and hand deliver it to our men. No, we're just straight out hypocrites. We want an environment created for us that we either do not know or choose not to create for our men. Because if you do know and you're not doing it, it's a choice. If you don't know and you're not doing it, it's actually also a choice. Because you can choose to get the requisite skills and tools in order to do so. One of those are having conversations where you may be triggered and trying to work through the discomfort that happens. And I saw that comment. I'm going to put it up. Mr. You said this, and I want to bring this back. He said, men sit in our discomfort all the time to let women express themselves as much as they want. And we suffer in silence, but we don't get the same in return. And you're right, because we're hypocrites. I mean, this is not going to make women want to come watch the show anymore, but let's really let's really talk the truth. I have been a hypocrite. In that moment, as my ex told me, fuck your feelings, I had been a hypocrite because I grew up in a place and a world and a family where my feelings have always mattered.
So the question I have for you is this: how or when did it click for you?
In that very moment. I'm not
Just
gonna lie.
a moment there.
It clicked right away. Like I don't even remember what the conversation was.
Uh huh.
I don't recall the conversation, but I just remember I remember I can visual we were standing in the hallway of our house. He was saying something and I responded and he literally looked down at me. I'm 5'5", everybody. I'm actually quite tiny. And he's 6'9". And he looked down at me and he said, "Fuck your feelings." And this is a man who would never barely raise his voice at me, anything. I am very much coddled in my relationships because in many ways I'm this amazing, wonderful woman. And so I do get coddled in my relationships, but in that one moment, he said, "Fuck your feelings." I clutched my invisible pearls and I didn't respond. And I went, "You're right." Like that.
So, so the follow up question would be is, well, not the next statement. I'll say is this, because you asked me how can we make it more, how can we help you? But
Yep.
you don't know how. I mean, it clicked for you, but so what I'm saying that it just has to click for each woman out there. It has to be something they have to do on their own. It wasn't nothing that you did. It just clicked for you. So it was like, well, if it clicks for you, how, what I'm saying? Like, I can't coach or train someone to click for them. It's just something that has to happen internal. So it starts internally with you, not just you, but the women.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
so that's why I asked a question. So when did you know? You didn't know. It just happened. That's our dilemma as men.
Oof, oof, you just took. Here is the thing. I think the part for me is when you truly love someone with your whole heart and soul. Just I'm gonna go back to what you said about us birthing children, right? Like
Mhm.
I love my daughter with my whole heart and soul. I say to people, my daughter is my heart outside of my chest. She's my walking heartbeat. I love that child so very much. And so I do as much as I can to protect, provide, you know, nurture her, protect her feelings, all of those things. And I think another keeping it real moment. I think if I'm honest, and we've talked about this before, though, a lot of women are in relationships for survival.
Yeah, we did. We sure did.
So they're going to disrespect you. There is a pick up my book, No Handouts for Black Girls, and Love Rules, available on Amazon. There is a again, and I've talked about this on the show before, but there is a chapter in the book where I talk about falling in love with my ex, and I talk about it was like standing in front of him naked with my heart in my hand, handing it to him, and praying he did not drop it. Because understanding that that was as vulnerable as I could be. I've also talked on this show. Standing in front of a man for the first time naked is super vulnerable. I won't speak for all women, but I'll speak for this woman. It doesn't matter what you think I look like in clothes. When I peel those clothes off, I am super vulnerable because and you are able to see the dimples in the butt, the whatever, like you're able to take it all in. So then I'm standing there with my heart outstretched and saying, "Take me as I am, take me fully, take me completely. I am in love with you." But a lot of women are not in love with the man that they're with. They're there for survival. And I think it only clicks when you choose. I won't say this. I'm going to take that back. It does click before that man, but number one, I think a lot of men, and this is not a blame, let's just be clear. I just said it about 5 minutes ago. I'm very much coddled in relationships. I know that. And like my boyfriend's watching, I'm not saying to stop it, but I am. I've been coddled since birth. I had a father that coddled me. I have sisters that coddle me. I have two moms that coddle me. The men in my life, and if we take the woman aside, the men in my life, starting from my father, have coddled me. You add the fact that I'm attractive, got a pretty decent body going on, coddled to the second power. And so a lot of men haven't called me out on my bullshit. They've just let me do bullshit.
The pretty privilege.
Facts. I'm going to own it. They have let me do bullshit. And so what happens is there's a precedent that's set. Remember, we talked about it. Once we cross as women, once our tippy toe goes over the line, we are not going back. And so when my ex, who I completely loved, like completely, looked at me and said, fuck your feelings, that was the first time in 20 plus years of being with a man that a man had ever said no shit to me like that. They might have said it behind my back. They might have said it to their boys. They might have been like, she cute, but she's a complete bitch. But they'd never say it to me. But that man loved me so much. And that's how I looked at it. I looked at this. This was a man that loved me so much and wanted that relationship so badly. He wasn't going to put up with my bullshit. And it was like, fuck your feelings. Because once you fuck your feelings, we can go off and have this beautiful relationship. And until the day we broke up, we did. The beautiful relationship. But it was in, so when I say it clicked because he was the first man to ever call me out on some bullshit. And if you call your woman out on bullshit and her natural inclination is to be defensive, it tells you a lot about how she feels about you without her telling you how she feels about you. If her natural reaction is to stop, remember, Mr. Mrs. said it early, listen, understand, and adjust. I listened. I attempted to understand because we don't always understand, but I definitely adjusted. And that was the catalyst for this show starting in September of 2021. And I had this show for almost 2 years with my ex every week. Twins, again, you were part of it. You saw that man sit there and talk about like our relationship and the things that we do. And it was because of that very pivotal moment of him saying, I'm not going to put up, I love you too much to put up with your bullshit, because had I continued, our relationship would have probably broken up subsequently after that. I can't lie. It probably wouldn't have lasted as long. And even though we didn't go the distance, I've learned so much from that I have the effective tools to be better in my current relationship.
But still, how can we unlock that feature in our women? Everything you said was sweet. It was great. We understand it. I'm glad that, it's like the Matrix. You took the red pill. Now you woke. You see everything. You understand now. Okay, now how can I take that red pill you took, chop it up in small millions of pieces, and feed it to all the masses women out there so they can get it too as well?
I just realized that's where the red pill community comes from. Is that from the Matrix? Oh my God, I just put that together. Oh, that is a good question, and you're not wrong in what you said previously. It does start with us. It starts with us wanting to make that change. Because quite frankly, that moment could have gone completely different. He could have said, fuck your feelings, and I could have said, fuck you too. Right? Like that could have been my reaction. Who are you to come tell me to fuck my feelings? Blah blah blah. Like and do the whole like the whole thing. Right? It could have been a completely different result from that situation, but it was something inside of me that I knew that I think, and again, I won't lie, it's because I thought I was better than that. I did. I am going to boldly say, as a non-American Black woman, I think I'm above that shit. Like, oh no, I'm Caribbean. We're West Indian. We're groomed a certain way. We. Oh my goodness, you get away, man. What is happening? Oh, God, like, I really did think I was above that. And in that moment, I got humbled. I got humbled and said, no, no, hello, you are not above that. And I was like, I refuse to be that woman who doesn't allow my man to feel vulnerable and safe and protected in this relationship. Because here's the thing, that's what I want for my man. I want my husband to know that his soul is safe with me. His body is safe with me. His words are safe with me. He is safe with me. That was a desire of mine because, again, I grew up with such an amazing father, and my father was literally like my best friend. Everything I was going through, I went to my daddy, and my daddy had created such a safe environment. So, people think, badly of daddy's girls, and I talked about it. I just said I was caught in a relationship, but my daddy made me feel safe. I never had to look for a man to make me feel safe. My daddy had created that environment for me. So when you have that, you just like, I want to create that for someone. So I already had that desire to want to make sure that I had the best soil to grow and nurture a relationship. That again, it was that trigger of just him saying that where I went, okay, maybe I'm not doing that. If I didn't have the desire, I would have literally looked at him and said, fuck you too. And kept it pushing. Either we would have broke up, we'd had a big argument. I definitely wouldn't have had this show. This show would have not existed if I did not feel that these conversations were so important to have with men and women.
So this goes back to what you said earlier in the conversation, and when we had, you said many times, right? Which you would say this, but you chose her. Now, with that statement being said, and now knowing what it took to unlock that feature out of you,
that's true.
You know what I mean? Somehow it activated itself, You know what? I'm going to listen to what he said now. I'm going to understand this man. I'm going to be his piece now. It's happened for you, right? Now, with that being said, we as men, that's something that we struggle with. How can we activate a feature in our woman to have that mode turn on? Because it sounds like y'all pick and choose if y'all want to do it or not. So when you make that statement saying that, well, you chose her, well, once again, you didn't show me the true you until later on. So you get what I'm saying? So you make that statement, for you, it just clicked. For the other 9 trillion billion women out there, no. And like you said, there might be with somebody because they need survival. How can we weed that out? if you got this feature hitting that needs to be unlocked. What level I got to hit to open that level? You know what I'm saying? What I need to do to make sure I activate that feature in you. I'm just saying, let us men know so we can activate that feature so we can have that 100% of our women and move forward. But until y'all do that, all men are doomed at this point. Yes, all. I'm saying all right now. Based on what you just said about it just clicked for me and boom. So that's not something that doesn't come standard with all women.
Ooh, that's the standard package.
Hey, listen, it may be there, but once again, not you, but the woman has to want to do that. They want to have. They want to be. They have to be the one. You know what? I want to be his piece. I want to. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna shut up right now and just let him talk because I love this man. Pause. Sound crazy saying it.
we know what you're saying. We know what you're saying.
So, because like I said, it took you for being in that place. Like, you know what? Because like you just said earlier, you got the pretty privilege. The old you would have been like, oh, hell no, who the fuck you talking to? You, we done and relationship over. But something somewhere was like, you know what? I'm 100% unlocked now. Ta-da! And fellas, I know y'all can relate to what I'm saying. Like, what feature do I need to do to unlock that? So I'll stop right there.
That was hilarious. You asked a valid question, and I would say I didn't think I was perfect in most of my relationships, but I always thought I was a damn good woman who was already doing all of that stuff. No one generally called me out on anything. And again, I have heard this, and my ex said this several times on the show. Most men don't want to hurt their women's feelings.
Well,
because we know go ahead.
Well, we know you're emotional creatures. We know that. And y'all hold that as a badge of honor. Like, well, I'm emotional. I don't care. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And that's where the rubber hits the road. What they say? Rubber hits the road. That's what they say.
Yeah.
So until we can get past our part, we will never get nothing established because I don't like how you said that to me. You know what I'm saying? Your tone. So once again, this is the challenge that all men have when it comes to this part. And mind you, you just gave everyone, all the men if for the 94% of men who watch this show, you got the cheat code, fellas. You have to somehow unlock that feature in that woman to get her to be open and want to be submissive. Not submissive. I want to say that because that's a trigger word for some women.
I know,
trigger. Just to unlock that feature to get the full femininity out of her. Yeah. You said it.
I sure did. I did. And I'm standing on it. I'm standing on business. And I do think it is an internal thing. So I am going to say that there has to be a need and a desire and a want to make a change. But I think for me, I didn't even realize I needed a change. I thought I was doing it all right. And I was talking about men I was in a relationship with. Now, men that I just knew when I was dating that I wasn't serious, whatever. You got what you got. But the men that I committed to, I felt like I was doing my thing in those relationships until someone told me I wasn't with 3 words. Fuck your feelings. What do you mean? My next book will be actually called Fuck Your Feelings, The Journey to Imperfect Love. Look out for it in 2026. But I digress. But, I did clutch my purse. And I had a lot of thoughts that went through my head. Fuck my feelings. Like, people care about my feelings. My daddy cares about my feelings. My feelings are important. What does he mean, fuck my feelings? Like all of these things, I never articulated them, but they all ran through my head. So I was like, my daddy cares about my feelings. What do you mean about my feelings? And as I stood there, I looked in that man's face and I saw something that stopped me from saying a word. There was something in his face in that moment that said, Toshiba, you shut your mouth and you keep all of these thoughts to yourself. It was a place of, I don't know if vulnerability was the word, but it was almost like he was holding on to so much and then he went, ah! It was one of those, ah! moments. And I couldn't believe that I was making my man having to do a, moment. And I knew that that moment was for me to make a change, not for him. And you're right. It is a woman thing, but I think a lot of the times you need to have that important conversation with your woman. There needs to be communication. Our word a lot on this show. There needs to be that communication where you can express to that woman, and this is where I'm talking about, like when you say, oh my God, like we can't say certain things, but you have to be able to convey whatever it is that you're feeling, thinking, that is causing you angst in that relationship, to be able to articulate it to that woman so that she understands that even though she has an expectation of safety from you, you're not getting the same from us. Like, babe, I'm giving you safety and security and provision and all of those protections. I want the same from you. And I think if we are in a place where, as we sit and we look at our men and we hear the words, and again, I'm going to say hear and not listen, because again, you can listen and not hear, but if you hear the words and you see that man not breaking down, but you see that man being so open about what is going on and the turmoil he's battling, that may be a result of your behavior. The hope is that there would be a change. And I see someone backstage. Mr. I see you. Let me pop you in. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Can you hear us?
Oh, unmute you. Hit the mute button. What can we just say? Make sure you unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Okay, there, he's unmuted. What's up? Microphone check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, he'll come back.
He was ready. He wasn't ready.
I realized it's funny. My boyfriend made fun of me the other day because I actually say microphone check and not mic check. He was like, what the hell is a microphone check? I'm like, isn't it microphone check? He's like, it's mic check. So,
Yes.
okay.
As Americans over here, we say mic check. We don't say microphone. It's mic check.
I was like, microphone check. He was like, what the hell is a microphone check? Anyways, I digress. But, we'll wait until Mr. comes back. But I think, and then Jeff, if you're here, I would love, and I know, Jeff, you counsel married couples as well. And I understand it's after 10. Twins, you have a few more minutes. I don't like to drag you past an hour. Okay, good. Let me see. Okay, Mr. is that. Mr.
Can you hear me now?
Loud
I
and
think
clear.
you can.
Good.
Go on, sir. I know you want to share your thoughts. I'm all ears.
Well, I didn't hear the past 2 minutes because I was trying to make sure my mic works, which it didn't. So,
Okay, you didn't miss much. I was just making fun of myself because I say microphone check instead of mic check. But I digress. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the topic. I know you've been leaving a lot of comments in the comment section.
But the problem is we got to figure out where to start. We hit on a whole bunch of stuff.
Where do you think it starts? Because I think this is it isn't it. I'm going to tell you, for me, it is an important conversation. It is it. This is why and shit. I might have a part three. Who knows? Like, this sat on my heart and soul this weekend as I rewatched the show and did these clips. I just kept replaying what you gentlemen were saying, and clearly what Twins was saying to us here. So, where do we start?
Well, what I said before about listening, understanding, and adjusting, that is a key. That is definitely a place to start. That's the proper response when someone is opening up to you and being vulnerable. And that's man, woman, child, anyone. Like, we know how to treat each other like human beings. It's just we're not always doing it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You just made a very good point. It's basic human treatment. And there are a lot of men in relationship, it sounds like, from what I hear on the show, what I hear on other shows, where men don't even feel like in a relationship where they're expected to provide and protect, that they're getting basic human treatment. Because I've heard it said, you listen to your boss at work, but somehow you have all of this mouth for me when you come home.
The wrong
Hmm.
mouth too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or you know when to feed the dog, and the dog can't even talk, but you don't know when your man is upset.
Message. Message. Was that some good water? Was that water good?
Yes, I never heard it said that way, but that is a clip. You said a whole world, because there's a lot of women since COVID running around with these dog husbands. And you were so right. They know when to take the dog out for a walk, when he needs to go stretch his legs, when he needs to eat, all of those things. But they can't take that same insight into the relationship with their human man. Message. I got nothing. Hmm. Ladies, I you guys just talk, because I'm taking that one in for a second. I don't even own a dog, just so we know.
Yeah, but there is a lot of ladies out here that have dogs. No man, but they have a dog. So that statement was definitely on point. They know when to run home real quick, take that dog out, all that. And they'll they'll drive crazy and everything. Make sure that dog go out and use the bathroom. Yeah, where I gotta leave. Why? My dog gotta use the bathroom. I gotta take him out. No one's there. But like you said, when it comes to a man, now, oh, he'll be all right.
Hmm.
Yeah, he a man. You know what I'm saying?
He just worked a double shift. Uh, he'll be all right.
How dare he work? How
Not
dare
like
he?
he,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
it's not like he would appreciate a hot meal when he comes home. Like that. That doesn't happen. That's not real.
The nerve to work a double shift and come home and expect food be made. What? I'm just saying. And
The
actually,
fact that
we
you
don't
gotta
think it is.
sacrifice, yeah, the fact that you gotta sacrifice your own mental health and your own social life and your finances for this woman, but it's too much to ask of her to make you a sandwich. The nerve. How dare you ask for such a thing?
Or throw another one in there. You don't work a double shift, but unfortunately, you get home before her, right? It's still expectable. You should cook. You was home first. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. That was told to me. So,
Y'all just
mhm.
y'all just want a slave.
No comment, huh? You still taking it all in?
I'm here to listen and help guide the women to the shore because you guys are dropping some knowledge. For me, that's not the story of my life. I am the woman who cooks and cleans and does that in my household and tries to make sure that my man eats and even if he's not home, puts his food in the microwave so when he comes home he just presses the button and can have something if I'm sleeping. That's how I was raised. I don't think it's a slave culture. I don't think it's me, whatever, being under my thumb. I had women tell me to go back to 1832 when I said that I feed my man before the children. It was a whole uproar on social media when I when I said that. Me and my ex were getting messages. It was just the weirdest thing. So I get that. I'm gonna say this boldly. Still will not bring women to the show. Men are not the problem. We are.
Yeah, I won't put it all on you, right?
No,
We do
I,
play a part.
I'm gonna tell you why though. And I've said this before. We are the moral fabric of society. We've always been. We are like the morality of society. And the more we have created environments where people can treat us a certain way, be a certain way to us, change the morality around sexuality and how that is. Because a lot of that, yes, prostitution is the oldest occupation. We understand that going back to the Bible, but we've created these. Men no longer had to be the type of men that we now want them to be in 2025, and we're complaining that they're no longer these men. And I get patriarchy, and I get all that. Like we can use all these big words as women. It's the patriarchy, and we need feminism and all that stuff. But the basic concept is we're the moral fabric of society. And when we loosen some of that morality, when we loosen our standards, when we started loosening all of that stuff, this is the result of this. The result is where we are at, and we have to play our part in fixing it. I think, it is a bold statement, and you're right, it isn't all on us, but it's got to start with us. If we have a problem, if I have a problem with you, is it your job to fix my problem with you? Or it's for me to figure out what the problem is and say, here's the problem and here's how I wanted to fix it, right? As women, we're saying that we have a problem with you. We have a problem with how you speak to us. We have a problem with how you treat us. We have a problem that you abandon your children. We have a problem with that, you want us to be submissive and be under your thumb. Like there is so much complaints about all the problems that we have. Men are responding to our comments about all the problems we have with you. But if we have the problem, isn't it up to us to sit down and say, okay, so here are the problems. How do we create solutions? What do we need to do to create solutions? Because, you know, uh, this Anthony Edwards situation, I don't know if you guys have all heard about this,
Oh
but
yeah.
Anthony Edwards, the basketball player, for those of you who've not heard about it, Anthony Edwards, the basketball player, paid a woman a jump off $100,000 to have an A. She was supposed to go. His lawyer negotiated with it. She got pregnant. He didn't want the baby. He didn't want any connections with her. She agreed to go and get an A. She did not. She had the baby. She took the money, had the baby. She then, after had the baby, she moved to Los
Yeah.
Angeles from Georgia, where she lived, to try to get more money. The judge saw through her bullshit, ordered him to pay what was the equivalent of $5,000 a month for 18 years. And Anthony Edwards says, I'll see you, judge, and I raise you one. He paid her $1,080,000 all in one lump sum and basically said, F you and F the baby, and I don't want anything to do with you. We cannot say that a man is the problem when we exhibit behavior like that. My body, my choice, get it. All about it. You had a choice that you wanted to have this baby, but you willingly got pregnant and you're using your baby as a tool to get rich, and now you got another generation that's going to suffer because they don't have a father, or you're going to expect some man to pick up the slack for Anthony Edwards' baby. What man wants to be the stepdaddy to Anthony Edwards' baby?
The one thing I just want to throw in there, just to make sure we have all the contents. Anthony Edwards is a young 20-year-old man, and this lady
She's older.
Yeah, she's in her late 30s, if not 40s. But I want to say,
was she in her late 30s? Oh my God, my father phone is over there. I knew she was older. I didn't know she was that much older.
Yeah, she's not a spring. She's not the same age as him. No.
I'm gonna go. Hold on.
So therefore, you gotta throw in that context too. I mean, he ain't just out just having a kid, making babies, and don't want to take care of them. This lady is already an older lady.
And nobody calls her a predator.
No, thank you. That's see, that's why I was going with it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, if a man,
you already
is running around with a woman who's half his age, he's the first to get called a predator.
Once again,
this woman is just not, and this woman isn't even in it just taking money from him. She's bringing another life into this world that has to suffer through this nonsense.
And and guess what? Because this case is high profile, she'll be someone that will have either a podcast or be on the show somewhere or be interviewed by somebody, and she gonna preach his rhetoric about man ain't this, he don't take care of his child. But you chose to have a baby by a man who did not want to have the baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
her body, her choice, his responsibility.
Mm-hmm. So cool, you had the baby, cool. And guess what? Here's all the money up front. Don't call me, don't text me, because I didn't want the baby in the first place. But he gonna be still labeled as a deadbeat dad because he ain't take care of his child. Go ahead, Toshiba.
New development, which I didn't know. She also has a baby for little baby. Or little
yeah. Rapper, yeah.
Baby. She also has a baby for little baby. And I'm trying to find her age. These articles are not giving me the age, but he is 23 years old, and I know that she's a tad bit older, and I will find her age. But to go back to my point, that's what I'm talking about. You guys even added an extra layer, and I'm going to go back to Twins' words that left off the clip that I played earlier. Accountability, right? There is a lack of accountability among us as individual women, and I'm going to put myself in that category, and then us as a collective. There is no way to excuse that level of effery, right? That is just some level of effery that you take money from a man thinking that thought that you went and had an abortion. Oh God, am I even allowed to say that? A word.
Yeah.
Sorry, YouTube, but A word.
Well, the good thing is we're deep enough in.
So we're past. Okay. The A word.
And also, she's 38.
Oh, you found it. 38.
Yeah. He's 23. She's technically at the age where she could already have a son close to his age. Just saying.
Yeah, she's
she's
38.
You know what I'm saying? I'm still gonna hold us men accountable. You need to have that discipline. You got to have the discipline. You can't be out there just sticking in anything. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I understand, but you got to have discipline.
Absolutely. You absolutely 1,000. I'm gonna always own that. You have to have discipline, but at the end of the day, babies generally don't come from unwilling participants in the act. Because if you're an unwilling participant, that man goes to jail, right? Because you were
Right.
an unwilling participant. But a large percentage of babies are not being born from a woman being an unwilling participant in the action that led to their birth. We are willing participants. I was a willing participant in me getting pregnant and having a baby. Had I not been there and had him skeet skeet, as men say inside of me, my daughter would not exist had I not protected myself. So again, there is like there's no there how many reports of, you know, women assaulting men do you think that there are?
I'm sure there's a lot, but it's not. I don't know the numbers. I'm not.
It is a small percentage. It is a small percentage of reported cases of women essaying men. I'm going to even look it up right
No,
now.
no, no, no,
It
no.
generally doesn't happen,
The number,
right?
the reporting of it is always going to be a low number, but it happens a lot. Men just don't say nothing.
Nor would it be taken as seriously when you do,
That too, as well. I mean,
right?
you know what I mean?
It just isn't. It's not the same level of consideration given to a man when things are done to him. And I'm not trying to take this conversation off track, but it
Right.
goes back to the fact that you said this last week. We're not held as accountable on the highest level that you are. And so it is incumbent upon ourselves as women, if we have the issue, we need to be part of the solution. Expecting other people to solve a problem that you have doesn't make any sense. If you have a problem with men having sex with you and not caring about you after they come, stop having sex with men who don't care about you after they come. That's a good solution, right? If you don't want to be left holding the bag, having a baby, and taking care of that baby by yourself, stop having babies for men with whom you're not married to. Yes, can marriages end? But there is a lot more responsibility that a court will put on a man. You know it, on a man who is married to support his children than just some weed guy that you met and slept with and you had his baby that you thought his name was B boy or something. Like, stop exhibiting behaviors and saying, well, the problem is that men are leaving their children. Well, don't have babies with men who came for sex and left with families. If I have a problem with you, it is incumbent on me to try to fix it. And that's all I'm saying. Again, this is not going to bring more women to the show, but like we're just going to keep it real here, twins. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, I was gonna say that is a big talking point that I've been hearing in the black community. Black men leaving families or creating families, but they're not talking about how the families were created in the first place. That's all. I just want to say that.
And a lot of
So,
times the
go ahead,
solution
Nikki.
is in the question.
Go ahead. Let's talk about it.
A lot of times the solution is in the question. How do I stop having babies by men who don't care about me after they come? The solution is in the question.
Which is why I said stop doing it. Like period. And so I am going to put a challenge out to us women. If we want to plug the hole in what we feel is happening in the dating and relationship world, it's gonna have to start with us. Like as men, if you want to plug the hole, that is what's happening for you in your dating and relationship life. It starts with you. The same way I say, well, you chose her, I say, but you chose him, sis. You chose him. You chose that man to have a baby with. You chose that man to marry. You chose that man to give attention. You chose to give that man energy and time. You chose him. So why? And if you keep choosing the same men, if all the men in your life are F boys and they're no good, and you've had baby number one, two, three, four, and more with the different men, and it's the same story. At some point, you're choosing these things. This is a choice, and so it to go back to even Twins' question, it is a choice to want to create a safe space, but it's also a choice to want to be in a safe space. If you realize your woman is not your safe space, the only person that can make the decision to not be in that space anymore is you. As a woman, if I realize I am not a safe space, the only person who can make sure I am a safe space is me. You can love me, you can support me, you can guide me, you can protect me, you can provide for me, you can do all of the things in the fairy tale. But if I have made a decision that fuck all of that, I'm still not going to create a safe space for you. There is nothing that you can do to make me do that. So and then my partner who doesn't feel safe now has to make a decision. Do I want to stay with this entitled, pretty privileged, whatever he chooses to call me after that, or do I going to leave her because my safety is so important to me because I'm fighting demons out in the world that she cannot even begin to understand. And that is what I think that's what gets me. I understand that my demons that I fight are nothing compared to yours. Zero. If I woke up as a black man tomorrow, I would immediately ask to go back to sleep. Put me back to sleep because I can't. Like I'm not no, I don't want it. I don't want any parts. My life is as privileged as it comes. I do not want. I don't want to wake up as the most. I don't want to wake up as Usher, who's got women melting. I don't want to wake up. Put me back to sleep. I'm waking up as a woman because I don't want your problems because I realize the world sees you very differently than it sees me. So I'm going to challenge you, men, to say if that black woman, that woman is not making you feel safe, you have to make a decision about what direction you go. Just like if my man isn't giving me all the things that I want in my relationship to be feminine and be submissive, whatever silly words we use out there in the universe, then I have to make a decision what I'm going to do because people will only treat us the way we allow them to. Just like you always say, twins, right? A man will do what you allow us to do.
Facts.
And
Go ahead.
and
Go ahead.
this also goes, sorry.
No, you good.
No,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
And this also goes back to what Twin said in the beginning about accountability, because this is what we're talking about right now, accountability. And the main part of accountability is looking at yourself and asking yourself, what part did I play in creating this situation that I'm in right now? And furthermore, what am I going to do to get myself out of this situation? It's not about what everyone else is going to do. What are you going to do about it?
We're silent because we're letting you let that one sink in, everybody. You just captured exactly what I just said. I think there's a solution in there to the question of safety. I think we're not gonna get it right now, but I think this is a good start about how do you ensure that you are safe? How to ensure that the environment that you are protecting and providing is safe for you. Because if you are going into a space every day and your soul is not at rest in that space that you've gone out and fought battles to ensure it's safe for the woman that you're with, not up to her to get out of the environment. She's good. Let's be clear. I'm good. You've created a space for me where I am good. I am protected. I am provided for. I am supported. I feel safe. I can go to the store and tap my card and I'm good. Why? Because my man has got me. So I'm comfortable over here. You're not. I am not protecting. I am not providing. And I'm not talking about financially, ladies. You guys hear that crap and you guys think we're talking about financial. There's different ways that women protect and provide, okay, for their men. But if you are not getting that and you feel unsafe, you have to create the environment for yourself. And sometimes it means leaving a person that we may love, but just cannot love us the way we want and need to be loved. And that's key. I can love you, but how do I love you better? And in a way that you can receive. A lot of us are loving our men, but we are not loving them in a way that they can receive. We're loving them the way we loved all the other men before them. It is time for dating tips. But before I go into that, King's Cash Court has come in and he says accountability plus trust, sprinkle a little bit of transparency, and a chemical trust equals healthy slash safe space slash relationship. So, Mister, it's dating tip time. Do you have a dating tip? I'm stalling. I don't have one.
Well, with that said, then how about I unload the clip on you?
I'm ready.
I'll give you multiple ones from the past.
Let's do it.
Dating tip. Men save money when they're single. Women save money when they're in relationships. Stop asking him why he doesn't want to go out. He's not broke. You're not the one paying $100 every time you go outside. Dating tip. If you keep dating your type and it keeps ending in disaster, the problem is you. Either you don't recognize patterns, both in yourself and in other people, or you're ignoring patterns. You need to reevaluate what attracts you and why you're attracted to people who are not good for you in the long term. Dating tip. Relationships are not luck. They are a series of daily habits you perform to maintain the health of a relationship. These habits will be mutually beneficial in the short term and the long term. It's up to the both of you to maintain them with each other. They are not dependent on how you feel at the time. Once they start depending on how you feel at the time, the relationship is over.
That's your feeling.
Dating
You
tip.
gave me enough time. Oh, go. You got more. Okay, let me lean back. I'm going to lean back like that. Yo. All right, go on.
You're not good enough the way you are. You need to improve yourself far beyond what you are right now to get the results you want. Everyone has to do this work on themselves. Stop making excuses for you to not do that work.
And I think you're done. That's a clip.
Thank you.
I'm just going, that's the clip, Mr. Mister. Twins, you got your dating tip? I do have mine.
Yes, my dating tip is for the fellas. Fellas, when you're about to be, or before you get into, no, before or during this relationship that you're in, find out, are you in a relationship because she needs to survive, or maybe you need to survive? Find the basis of the relationship, because that's going to tell you about everything. She might be with you because you're paying the bills. That's why she does. That's why you're not getting the respect that you should be getting, because she's there for survival. I don't want. I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody who's there for survival. So figure that out, and that's kind of, it's not hard neither. It's not hard. It's not hard to figure that out. It's easy. If she's struggling right now, matter of fact, it's easy. One, if she don't live by herself, that's number one right there. That's a red flag right there by herself, right there. If she don't live by herself, that's number one. Number two, when it comes to paying bills, she's always short. She's not short. She just put money to the side. Just take note. Just take note. Is she grabbing the bills first and it's like, all right, man, I'm gonna take care of this, or is she waiting for you to say something? Just saying. Find out if you're in a financial relationship or survival relationship, which is kind of the same thing. But I'm done.
All right. My dating tip is to the ladies, and I said it earlier, but I'm going to say it again. You are the solution to your dating problem. If you're having problems in dating, you have to look within yourself and figure out what is happening. No one is going to change for you. You have to change yourself. So if you're finding that you keep having the same results, that is the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So if you keep doing the same thing, getting the same result, and questioning why am I getting the same result, you have to change your dating behavior. So really sit down, figure out what it is that you're doing, where you're going wrong, and fix those things. And I can guarantee you, you will have much better results. My own life is a testament to that. And that is my dating tip for the night. I want to thank all of you in the chat. I want to, of course, thank Mr. For coming on. Mr. do you have any last words before we wrap up?
I could give you another dating tip.
Let's do it.
And it's inspired by this new movie that did horribly. This movie, Snow White. Snow White made herself of service to the seven dwarfs before she ever got to Prince Charming. By the time she got to the prince, she was already doing the things that he and most men wanted from her. She earned her keep. What are you doing to earn the man you want? You don't deserve anything until you can answer this question with the actions you've taken to become the type of woman that most men want, as well as the type of woman that the man you want wants.
That was a very good one. That's a good one right there.
You ain't never lied. I've said something similar, but maybe the ladies will listen when it comes from a man. So I thank you, Mr. for joining that. I'm just going to remove you from the stage right now. I will see you next week. I want to thank all of you once again for joining. These are important conversations. Please like, share, subscribe, tell your mama, tell your church sister, tell all the women in your life. The men, y'all are here. Please bring in the women over so we can have this conversation with them And don't forget, Love Rules is out now, my new book series. Catch it on Amazon. Do you want to plug anything before we go, Twin?
It's on Amazon. The price is very reasonable. Get your book.
Thank you. Thank you for plugging me. I appreciate it, family.
It's cheaper than that Starbucks drink you get every day. It's cheaper than that Dunkin' Donut drink you get. It's cheaper than that McDonald's meal you get. It's cheaper than a Chick-fil-A meal you get. It's cheaper than it's cheaper than a Chick-fil-A sandwich. I'm just saying. Support a sister out there for doing her thing. Get your book.
What he said. What he said. What he said. Thank you, everybody. We're out. Good night. See you next week. Bye.
Have a good weekend. Be